Okay, let's do it. Okay. And so it begins. Another night. So, the VShojo drama continues on. This time it's different. I kind of resisted seeing the reactions from people first. You guys know, whenever these things happen, the immediate reactions, while entertaining, are often very similar, right? Anger, disbelief, confusion. Like, it's not as interesting. What's more interesting is like how people react to it days after the fact, right? When they have time to think about it and digest it, right? Like, I don't need to see 10 people be sad about the same thing, right? Like, that doesn't tell you very much. So yeah, the drama, this time we're going to see it from Iron Mouse's perspective, now that days has passed, see how Sea-Dog reacted to it, and then of course, there's like a half-hour legal mindset video talking about it, the reactions of people, and more details from people involved, like Keisan. As for Nikkei, we gotta do the Nikkei E-like polls, co-op, and then union meeting. We're gonna go over the union raid and how that's happened, and then do co-op. We were supposed to start with this, but apparently nobody wanted this first, so okay. Afterwards, I'll do Black Snake in Nikkei. Probably, maybe. I should be able to beat it. I don't know why it would be hard. And if I'm not dead by then, Everdeep Aurora, which is the game we got a free copy of to try out. It is charming as all heck. And that's the idea for tonight. By the way, do you guys like how we're structuring the streams now? You cannot tell me we're not trying harder. Oh, and look, Eldritch in a room all by himself, all alone. Typical. Okay. All right, well, let's start. Love it, bruv. Why are you... Bruv. Bruv. All right. Well, let me get the videos out. We're going to check it out. Also, I'll be trying to make videos every single day going forward. It's gonna be hard, man. But I really want to try making more content more consistently.
You guys have been so incredible. I just feel like they're...
Wow, it's fighting through me pressing pause. Okay. I'm not gonna pretend I'm a fan of Iron Mouse, but I am very much an admirer of her. Good lord. In the West, is there anyone better? I don't think so. No one does as much for charity. No one cares as much, and no one is as wholesome. Maybe that's the best word for it. Anyways, I know a lot's been said. She said a lot, but this part, which is days after the fact, I think is really interesting. So let's take a listen.
You guys have been so incredible. I just feel like there's nothing that I could say that can ever just express how thankful I am to all of you.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's no amount of thanks that I can give. Oh my god, we're at 69? Nice.
The internet.
Man.
It's already over $1.2 million raised.
Heartbreaking things about all of this is...
For the IDF.
Sitting down and having to tell my mom.
Oh shit.
My mom and dad. My parents, they're hanging in there. My dad's hanging in there. My parents are hanging in there. Man. It's just... crazy. Oh my god, we hit 1.1 million?
Oh, this is before she hit 1.2.
My face broke. I'm sorry. Holy sh**. Oh goodness. Give me 1 second, chat. I'm so sorry. Give me 1 minute. I can't breathe. Can't breathe. Holy sh**. Hard to breathe right now. Ugh. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you. This has been such... I'm so happy that our community is able to basically take a horrible event and turn it into something so positive, full of love, and so full of just good vibes, happiness, love, support. So thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much. Thank you. You don't have to do you don't have to do anything, but I'm just so grateful that you guys are here. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Before I sing, I've had so many people tell me that I shouldn't apologize.
Apologize?
You know, so many people told me that I shouldn't, but I can't help but apologize. It's just in me. I don't know. It's my nature too. So, to all the community members, all the supporters, everybody, I'm truly sorry that all of this has happened.
That's not her fault.
I'm so sorry, but I am also very thankful that you guys are here and that you guys are so caring and loving and so supportive. So thank you so much. I know, but it's just who I am, you know? It's just who I am. Thank you all so much. I'm sorry for being a dummy. Oh, Seiko, we're here. Hi, Seiko, no. I didn't.
What is this title? Okay, we're gonna move on to the next part. What the heck? I don't like titles like that don't tell you anything.
Oh, guess what? Okay.
Oh, this
so
is after
guys,
the Nun debut.
To talk about this. This outfit was a part of a duo debut between me and Giga. We were going to do a duo debut.
Okay. This is not the clip.
In other news,
let's just go here.
Before we jump into Metal Gear, obviously you guys, I'm sure you all saw the VShojo released a statement. Well, I suppose Gun did. And that, wow. Yikes. Aware, clean your room. One thing I did want to...
I want to hear what Sea-Dog says about this, because he's always very balanced on his reactions.
Pressuring people to be like, look, the NDAs, the NDAs don't exist anymore. You can talk about it. And it's like, So I literally was talking, when I was talking to a lawyer before this all, I was asking him, I was like, I don't think they have money to sue.
They don't.
Surely the NDA is unactionable. And he was like, well, fun fact about the NDA, no. You can, when the company goes into bankruptcy, I could be wrong in a little bit of the...
Well, that's interesting because Legal Mindset was on the side of that. They're not going to be able to do it.
Action on the NDA to get more money. So people who are like, I can say what I want. It's like, yeah, you can probably say it. It probably might be fine, but and I was like, but then why would they? I was wondering, I was like, but surely there's no motive to want to follow up on the NDAs, like a random third party. And then, I guess it doesn't, if you're like a big investor with a ton of money, maybe blowing $500K on a lawsuit to maybe get your money back is not a big deal. That's not saying you shouldn't say anything. I'm just saying I didn't like people were like, everyone can say what they want now. They went off. I mean, look, it could also be different, that would be
diabolical. If during a bankruptcy meeting, they're like, hey, we're actionable on all these NDAs. If you just give us this money, we'll be able to sue these content creators and VTubers, and then we'll give you your money back for this bankruptcy. That would be diabolical. Technically they could do it, but if someone actually did that, that's truly evil.
I think more power to Vay for doing that. But I felt bad. I was like, I don't want other people to think that everyone should just start saying everything. I'm like, because my even the attorney I normally use, he was like, yeah,
it's business, it is, but it's insane to do something like that.
Bankruptcy lawyer and then a defamation lawyer. I was like, oh, that sounds expensive. Not that I'm even involved or anything. I was just checking because I wanted to ask. Because obviously I want to support all my friends and the people who are affected by it, and I don't want them to be doing things that could land them in more trouble. Because ideally, the best case scenario is it all is over and done with, and people can move on with their lives, and hopefully people can get the money back and the charity or the not holding
That's
out
not
any
happening.
breath for that one.
Good.
And like on like a personal note,
There's no money.
when we
There's
talked
none
about
at
it
all.
last time, I didn't want to like talk about gun because I wanted to make sure people were focused on the VShojo aspect of it. But yeah, man,
This is what I wanted to hear.
I think that's like the worst part of all of this in terms of like the trust.
He knew him, didn't he?
Because that tweet is so bad. If you guys haven't seen, he released a statement. It's like just admitting to it is crazy. I feel like
Okay, before we hear Dog's reaction on this, I don't even know why Gunrun said all he said. Basically, if there's ever a lawsuit, that statement will be used against him. And there is no defense. Like, he can't get away from anything because he admitted to it all. And so I don't even understand. Like, you only do something like that if you have morals and you feel guilty about it. So you try to take responsibility. But, man, that is straight up a forfeit. So, yeah. It's really, really bad on every perspective. And there's nothing to be gained from it. It's still such a surprise he said all he said.
For sure, a lawyer would have tried to talk you out of that.
Exactly.
To admit that is crazy. I mean, that's a
exactly.
Crime, but like a personal perspective, it was really like I don't think any me, Mouse, or anyone else like thought that he was capable of doing something like that. Because we just everyone trusted him. He was a really nice guy, and like every time we'd film together or we'd work together, and we'd hang out after shoots and stuff, and we'd always talk, and it was like I never once I met so many scummy people in this business.
Exactly.
There's so many people in this line of work that like will throw you to the side for like a 1% increase on their like clout or monetary value, and that was just never the impression I got. So it was really like heartbreaking.
I said all this yesterday, and you guys did not even believe me. As someone who's been around, I didn't know anyone personally, but as someone who's like listened to Gunrun speak and everything, none of this ever seemed like it would happen. He never seemed like that kind of guy from the outset. And to hear Dog back that up, yeah, no, he didn't seem like someone. He seemed to genuinely care, and he seemed to genuinely believe in what he was doing, and he did want to do better than every other organization. At this point, everyone's just going to say he's a scumbag, and this is all his master plan. He's just evil. Oh man, I really don't think he was that kind of guy. I think he was just desperate, and he fucked up. But we'll see. We'll see more. But this is why I wanted to hear Dog talk about this, because I knew he would just stick to what he believes in and his interpretation. And yeah, that's what I thought and saw as well. Jeez. To
see him kind of it's awful, man. It sucks. It's so scummy. It is a shame. But the CEO did I think like from my perspective, like, because I'm not really involved in any of this. I've just been helping Mouse deal with it, and I know, and I've had to work with them a lot, or Mouse, and like I don't whatever else is going on. I think like that is up for everyone else to figure out. Like, I'm not trying to insert myself and be the arbiter of this. It's not. Just the like personal betrayal is pretty up. Yeah. And yeah, obviously, if this is being clipped right now, please go to cdogva.com and go and get your monkey merch. Don't get this cute monkey. You need this in your life.
That's so smart.
Yeah, I mean, look,
use the clippers.
It's not surprising that
to get more viewership on it.
Run badly is now had all these things come out, people at accusations. Still, I still think there's a lot of people who, I think, because when these situations come out, I think that everyone's trying to like. There's a lot of people who are just putting out absolute slop and being like, I know the inside scoop, and it's like, dude, only the talents really know what went on,
I like how he said all that. God damn, I've seen some really shitty takes. There's no. I know we're doing reaction content right now as well, so it's like ironic, but there are some really bad reaction slop where people make all these judgments without knowing anything, and then they're completely wrong. I'm not gonna bring up who this is, but one reaction guy looked at a Pierre Polyev video and he was like, "This guy's gonna be the next Prime Minister of Canada," and no, no, that in fact did not happen. He's not the next Prime Minister of Canada. He lost. He doesn't even have a seat. It's so easy for people who should just like react and say something, and then people like actually believe it. But the reality is like most of these guys have no idea. So yeah.
Like, it's so frustrating seeing it all. Everyone trying to make it about themselves. It's like, dude, just like, dude, let people just like grieve and let people, you know, figure out what's.
Dude, I love those cups. I bought like 3 of those cups. The double wall cups.
You know, I still think it'll probably take some time before I think everyone, you know, we all get to see the full picture of what happened. You know, and I know that's a boring thing to say, and I know all the comments are like sharks in the water. They're out for blood. They want to know what happened. But it's like one of those things where like it just takes time for it all to come out and for the story to truly be like told and all aligned. Because there's just so much coming out right now. It's hard to like piece it all together and hard to know what's, you know, even stuff that I've seen that people have said. I've seen some things where I'm like, it's like the most. It's like a very stretching of. But you know, it is what it is.
Oh my gosh, he's so honest. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but like all the talents coming out. Okay, look, I'm not gonna blame them because they're right to say it, but like all the talents coming out of all these horror stories is just so questionable. It's just like, why didn't you leave earlier then? You know, if this is how you felt and this is how it was, because it's just like now people are talking about, now people are acting on it, but these things, if it was truly like that, why wasn't this done like at least months ahead of time, years ahead of time? Now, some people did actually leave years ahead of time, but that was a very small group.
What it is. People are taking this moment where like...
Oh, the worst parts are the staff members of VShojo leaving a couple months before this happened. The people who knew it was a sinking ship and trying to escape responsibility. Those guys are the worst.
It's like, because there is like this one entity that is so evil, everyone's gonna try and be like say as much as they can to be like, you know, they'll be like, guys, look at me though. And I think it's important as well, like one thing that I've always like genuinely believed in with when situations like this happen, where, you know, there's a lot of eyes on everyone who's involved in this, that you know, people who are watching and like the number goes up because people are interested in what you have to say, obviously. But it's important not to get lost in that. Like, your self-worth is not like that number and these views, and ultimately, oh wow, this is a job where you still have to like go on stream and, you know, just be a streamer and entertain people outside of this. So it's important not to like try to like make this everything. Like, don't let this be your thing, because I actually think it's like it'd be a disservice to like anyone who's involved who's like, this is like, oh, that person, oh yeah, I know that person from that scandal, you know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like, cool don't let this be a thing. But like, I am glad that a lot of people.
Yeah, you're right, Arrow. You're right
about saying how they were wronged. I think that's good though overall.
It's
obviously
super scummy
for the new recruits. It's all just a shitty situation. It's all just a mess, and you know, it's such a show.
That's
a betrayal.
Good
of trust,
pointer.
You know? And honestly, that's like something that is I'm sure if anyone's experienced this in their life, having your trust betrayed just stings in a certain flavor that something like, I don't know, and like the money is obviously an extension of that, like stealing money or not stealing, but not paying money or whatever it is like an extension of that, and that just having that trust betrayed is always the killer.
Isn't that the same thing?
That's what hurts the most. At the end of the day, Martin plays online 5,000 bits, but at the end of the day, you and Mouse and every other talents who are involved in that fortunate mess still awesome and real ones. Keep reminding yourselves that you are all the amazing ones. Yeah, no. I mean,
no,
I'm not involved in this. Like, I don't like. I'm just trying to help my friend, and ultimately, I think it sucks for like the state of like the industry. Like, I think it's good to have more professional organizations around that help talent and enable them. And I think it does suck to see. Yeah, because I hate that. Like, I don't know. I don't like that sometimes that people all have to fend for themselves. Okay, I'm gonna stick on that before we change the subject. Hey, VTuber agencies are dead. I don't know if anyone realizes that. They're all dead now. This is it. After the Niji-san thing, that was already extremely damaging, but at least you could tell yourself, hey, that was a Japanese company, right? Like, they're not natively Western.
VShojo is natively Western. Good luck getting sponsors. Good luck getting investors. It's 2025. Everyone's already seen enough failure from agencies, and to have one this big crash and burn like this, and of course, last year of Niji Sanji, no, or last year's now, I guess. It's over. There's no investors to be gained. In fact, I think we're going to have a shrinking of agencies going forward with sponsors and fundraising. Like, people are just going to back off. There's going to be no money going in, and because VTuber agencies are not self-sufficient, they don't even break even. Yeah, we're going to see a lot more closures. It's difficult to imagine after something like this that there's much of a future left. I think it'll just continue to shrink. So yeah, it's really bad. Right now, it looks really bad from the direct people, like the people who are directly affected. But the future just got so bleak.
And I think it is generally good for the industry to have bigger players who are able to move things forward and try new innovative stuff that individuals can't on their own. Especially because
VShojo was hella innovative,
and
especially of what they were offering back in 2020.
And I think that
it's not that crazy nowadays because it's been 5 years,
ethically and morally in the space.
I don't think we're going to get anything like that again.
And I think it's where I think there was a lot of chance for a lot of shake-up, like a lot of new agencies to come in and perhaps change the business. Because I'm not exactly fond of like the old style Hollywood agency model at times. There's a lot of aspects to it that I'm not fond of. So I think it was, but I think streaming now has kind of been absorbed into that.
VShojo was one of those agencies that were so different.
It's nothing.
Back in 2020, they were looking for like
that's pretty much it.
Singers, essentially.
But
all VTuber agencies want a singer first and foremost.
Kind of went down and like, look, I think I hope the full story someday. I hope it all comes out. I think right now it's just like, I think people are just looking for like serotonin boosts to be like, yeah, they suck. Give me more. And it's like, all right. It would be very helpful if you could all kind of piece this together as what the went wrong. A lighter, more consultation method with it.
The what went wrong thing, I think every VTuber agency needs to look at that, because none of them are successful at this. Maybe just Hololive and Niji Sanji to extent, but like, oh boy. I don't even think people can name 5 VTuber agencies that are functional, that are alive. I think you can name 5, but a lot of them are dead now. It's gotten that bad because they come and go so quickly and they're so obscure. Even if you know of talents of said agencies, like, they're everywhere, but there's no like identification to them anymore. No popularity, no exposure.
This, like, I've always, like, if creators ever want to ask me questions or like hit me up, because I hate when I feel so bad when I see a new creator who's absolutely crushing it.
Oh yeah, VShojo took everybody in too. You're right about that.
Someone had, like, just spoke to
Henya, Kason, they're good examples.
So, it's unfortunate. And that was kind of what was supposed to be the role of something like, a VShojo, to kind of help talent who are newer kind of navigate some things. But it turned out no one in that company had any clue what they were doing. So, great. If it keeps...
I don't have it up anymore. Oh, God damn it. They were so ambitious, the events they were doing. Do you guys know there are like animated pieces for every VTuber's lore? What was it called? VShojo Mythos? They were so ambitious. Their advertising was insane as well. I mean, you can't really blame them. They had $11 million invested in them, so they were willing to try big stuff, but like, I mean, ultimately they failed, but I felt like they were pressured all the time to play catch up with Hololive and Niji Sanji, just to catch up to those organizations from way, way earlier. And yeah, they burned out.
Keeps up at this pace, and the full story's out by Sunday. Well,
no,
but like, what even is a? What does a full story even look like? Like,
I don't know why people say things like that.
It's so easy to be like, we've got everything, we can piece it together. But I'm like, that's like a naive way of thinking of how all the information has come out. I really feel like there's so much more to this.
The perspective I really want to see is Gunrun's perspective. How did this happen? Okay, again, I know a lot of people are convinced he's a supervillain. I'm not. I want to see how this happened from his perspective. We're hearing all the talents talk about their perspectives, but you don't get a full story without both sides.
We've got a lot of what's happened, but like me personally, I'm so much more interested what is going on internally, not with like talent,
exactly
but, like, management. Like
exactly,
I'd love to know what the hell was going on day by day. Like that's
God, I love C-Dog so much.
Curious about, because I feel like that's where the story is. The time of the story
mature and he's just
yeah, absolutely
insightful.
Take about current events. Tech Bro makes a company thinking he can do it better than current ones. Company is run poorly but gets 11 million venture capital so it can actually run for a few years. Fails. Not the first or the 100th one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, act like a New Yorker, no one will bother you. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I think they're like, because people are like reveling in this, and I like.
Connor, on your trip to New York,
people are reveling in this, really?
The Empire State
so
Building.
loud.
That building has a history with monkeys.
Okay.
It does. I'm not crying. Oh, mouse. Yeah, I don't know. And like, I guess that's like the part that's like, I don't know how to word this, right? Because like, it feels wrong when people are like getting like super happy about like watching it all burn.
I think Holive has some stuff going on that's sus.
And love into like this, like, you know,
yeah,
stuff, and so like it feels.
I'm gonna pause real quick to address that. Hey, I think we can all agree Holive's the best one, but they have tons of controversies themselves. If you're a fan of Kason, and you know, why did she leave? That's because Holive bent backwards for China, and then they terminated their entire Chinese branch anyways. Like, all three of the top three were mired in controversy. It's just one hasn't done as badly as the rest, especially in recent years. So people forget this stuff. But no, that's just the business, man. It's impossible to do this right. Nobody's doing it right.
Like, I get people are happy that like it's all been out and all the bad deeds and stuff, but like,
okay, Kyle's right. I don't even know of a business that does things right anymore.
Destroy it. Yeah, it's like, man, like people's lives are ruined, man. Like it's you know, it feels wrong, but you know, that's the internet, and me expecting the internet to be
reasonable.
Yeah, I'm not. That's naive of me. I think the cash should be on the talent and not watching the company be destroyed, which I mean, absolutely should have. But yeah, I mean, the Tech Bro story, I think, you know, that's hopefully we'll get to tell the story someday. Hopefully the whole thing will be told and whatnot at some point.
That's all on Gunrun.
This is where
he has to tell his side.
Gives the whole timeline of what happened.
Yep, exactly. You're not going to get the whole timeline without him.
.com and get some beautiful monkey mush.
Keep plugging Cotter.
Should we play Metal Gear Solid 3? Should we do it? And look, isn't that in the part of the story that I think I'm so glad that the charity is able to get not 500K.
I think they're tripled at least.
$2 million right now. Insane numbers. Like that's
I think they're going to hit at 1.5 at least. Are they at 1.5 now?
The one good
Let's find out actually.
Like I'm happy about is that so much money is being raised for charity, and a bunch of awareness is being raised for people with primary immune deficiency. Like that is like
1.3 right
so
now.
Good. Like,
I think they'll make it to 1.5
about immune deficiencies and primary immune deficiencies because of all this. And I think that's amazing. Like that's like I don't know what the dollar amount is for that, but I know it's crazy. Like if you're a marketing company and you try to get that dollar amount of publicity on like a charity, it would be worth stupid amounts. So I'm really happy that like all this support and awareness has been raised, because at the end of the day, it's an awareness battle, and that's what like charities and diseases are fighting. Like they have to raise awareness to get funding to make changes in people's lives.
Are you going to play the Metal Gear 3 remake that?
Okay, well that was very insightful. I'm always a big fan of hearing what C-Doc has to say, and as expected, it was a balanced one. He didn't just look at one side. I am so sick of people just looking at one side. You're never going to get the story like that. And once you have your mindset set on good and evil, you're gonna miss the point. You're gonna miss the story. You're gonna miss the truth. Okay. Anyways.
The VShojo meltdown continues as
This one's going to be very
worse
interesting
for the VTubing company.
There's a lot to this.
You should be your own judge. Amanda Esquire, American attorney in the Say Fast Facts version. Now, this is going to be a not so fast facts version.
This is half an
I
hour.
was having some internet
but
troubles.
I really want to see
I don't
this.
know really what it was. I thought it was my streaming software. I thought it was OBS, but it's probably a connection issue for tonight. So while I get that sorted, I'm going to do this one. It will be a little longer than normal because I've got a lot of stuff I need to cover. Some things I have covered, some things I haven't covered.
What's
and
this
we're going to get to
headset
those today on this kind of extended fast facts version. Please leave a comment and a like below. And I do apologize for those that attended the lives and weren't able to see that because, well, my connection wasn't working. So sorry, guys. I love you and appreciate you. But as always, we have a PowerPoint. So let's get through this PowerPoint on the death of VShojo. So starting out with, of course, the best meme out of this with Case on here. We've got Justin the Gun Run Ignacio. Now, he made an official statement, which I did a separate video on, but I had some additional stuff now that I've simmered down a bit and thought about it.
That headset's
Another
old.
thing I wanted to mention about
that's
this
like an OG
statement,
one.
and
I just
as
don't recognize
before,
it.
I said this is a confession. This is admitting to criminal activity. This in no way removes him from culpability. His attempt to say,
in fact, this makes him even more
was
culpable.
something that he quote unquote later learned does not get him out of it. And also all the proof shows he knew about this. And he was actively fundraising for Iron Mouse during this. We have photos of that. We have proof of that. And
That's actually diabolical if you think about it. Actively fundraising for Iron Mouse and then pocketing the money. Well, again, it's to go to the company. He's not actually pocketing it for himself, but that's diabolical because good Lord, I don't want to look at people like that. You support someone and help them because it benefits you. I don't know. That's a dark way to look at things.
And he even sent out a congratulations. So him trying to ostrich this is absolutely ridiculous. And he is, of course, as the CEO, responsible for everything in the company, right? At the ultimate, the buck stops at the top, right? That's why you get paid the big paycheck, because you have the big risk, right? So at the top of the food chain, you have the highest risk and the highest reward. If your company is super successful,
to answer a question of why Gunrun didn't just ask everyone to Venmo him money to pay off his debt, because he wanted investor money. Could VShojo have survived if they just laid it bare that they were in such trouble? Sure. But you want to know what would happen in that situation? Your talents would leave. Maybe not all of them would leave, but as soon as you show them that you're not good enough to lead the company, and they've already lost talent by that point, they're going to leave. The safest thing for him to do was to get investors, because they are not going to talk about this, because talking about it would hurt the PR of the company, right? It would hurt its image. So, and therefore make it harder for the company to make money and return the investments. But that is why he was targeting investors. Even if you did allow everyone to Venmo the money, talents leave. They're like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I was already on the fence about this. It's a sinking ship. So yeah. He played it. He tried to keep it all, is essentially what he tried to do. But yeah, I mean, if he just asked publicly for help, I think it would have worked out for a bit longer, but it would have also caused a lot more new issues.
you can become a Bezos or Elon Musk, etc., right? But if it fails, you can be an Enron, right? And you can be that guy. So
do you guys even know what Enron is?
The risk of CEOs. That's why you take on that burden, and that can ruin you as a personal brand, as an individual CEO, if you are at the head of a company. And now this guy, the Gun Run, is going to be bearing that for the rest of his life. Now, does that mean the responsibility stops with him?
No.
Listen up, Tech Town. No, it does not. Of course it doesn't. But he still is responsible as well. So Gun Run is on the line, and others are too. And what was really funny is, like rats off the ship, we have this guy over here, Mutindo.
Yes, please call him out.
Immediately, this is a guy who quit, 2 months ago-ish.
The energy company, yes.
Say, nah, bro, what the absolute F?
They made a lot of fake energy projects, got a lot of investments.
No, this thing
when they weren't making anything
for a year. almost, and likely even longer, but at least a year, right? We've got proof that it may be much longer than a year, but certainly when he was there. So yes, he knew.
Also, goddamn, the new Twitter thing. Okay, it's not that new. It makes me sound like a boomer, but it's so good because if you say dumb shit like this, people will just point out it's bullshit, and it's gonna be right there on your tweet. This user was included in many VShojo mismanagement issues, has been called out for harassing talents. Wow, that's so good.
Knew about this. This was not a secret. In fact, we're going to show this recently revealed pitch deck that actually shows that this guy would.
I did not know that.
Been there at the time in which this was going down. So trying to pretend that he didn't know this absolutely does not. And further, it wouldn't get him off from being deposed, from being investigated for his portion, his contribution to this, because certainly this guy, knew something. So, I mean, he's got to, they've got to figure out, okay, what did this guy know? What did he not know? What part of this would he be culpable for or not culpable for? Because there's something that this guy likely did.
Do you guys think we're actually getting a lawsuit on this?
They were looking at these projections, which, here's
there will be a bankruptcy hearing, sure, but like lawsuits?
PowerPoint, and then we'll go over a summary that's been provided on X. You've got a forecast from October 2024, which
there it
wasn't
is.
Looking.
This looks like a tech company. Brackets means it's a loss. Yeah. Let's break this down, shall we? Oh my god. The outlook is insane. If they had a moderate outlook, it was 33% increase in revenues. Are you smoking? No. How did they think they were going to earn 33% more money? Aggressive outlook, they were going to double their revenues? 97%. How? This is unbelievable. Like, gross profit 0.4. Earning money? Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay. And then they take their salaries and payroll, which is... Remember what I said about all the talents having entire teams that need to be paid? Wow. Salary and payroll, 1.9. Conferences and events, 0.2. Oh, okay. The people saying the events and stuff is what drain all the money. That's... it is a sizable amount, but it's not that much. As for marketing and promo, 0.1. That's also not very high. That's way lower than I thought. And then other operating expenses, 0.6. So yeah, they have way too many expenses. And then so their little bit of profit that they get from their revenues minus cost of goods and services is way in the black. I don't even believe they have a profit. That's nuts. And also them forecasting like doubling of revenue on the aggressive end is insane.
Good, right? The forecast was already looking not good even in October of 2024. But then
they all look bad.
January,
all tech companies look terrible like
Addison, that. Who got this information over here on X. And I am taking this at its face value. So understanding that, of course, any information can be proven to be not credible, etc. But let's take this at face value because it matches up with concurrent testimony and concurrent reports and pretty much the consistent reports of the talent. So at this point, I am going to take this at face value. So based on what Addison says here, Wifey and I got access to a recent VShojo pitch deck, and some of the stuff is really interesting. TLDR describes Gunrun as the most well-connected Twitch staff.
That's a weird measure. Yeah.
Lost $2.5 million in 2024. What that shows to me is a level of financial negligence that is pretty insane. And I understand that businesses are supposed to lose money the first couple years, but this business has been going since 2020, right? At this point, at some point, you have to start making calls to cut back. And I'm
going to put an asterisk on that. Did you guys know DoorDash, Uber Eats, they're not profitable? Oh, actually, they might be like slightly profitable now or something. and they've been around for how long? Most tech companies are not profitable. If we look at VTuber agencies, I don't know if we'll even find one profitable one outside of like, well, the publicly traded ones, which is Niji Sanji and Hololive. But outside of those two, which ones are actually profitable? Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Most tech companies start out and they lose money for even decades. It's that bad. Twitter, is Twitter ever going to be profitable? How long has Twitter been around for? So I know it looks bad, but the truth is majority of these companies just lose money.
I'm sorry, as an adult, and once again, as a CEO, and this guy is not a child, he's not a kid, he's an adult, you need to make adult business decisions. What does that mean? Scaling back on advertising and marketing. What does that mean? Scaling back on some large events.
Real quick about the legal mindset comment. Look, man, I'm not even sure who we can take opinions from at this point that isn't flawed. And if you really want to go through the list, everybody has issues. I don't have to talk about Tecton. I don't have to talk about Asmongold. I don't have to talk about. You can go through the entire list of people. Everyone's getting shat on for whatever reasons. It's too difficult to do that, right? Like supposedly there's someone good out there, but yeah.
What does that mean? Cutting back staff.
I don't know when we'll find one.
Staff that need to be trimmed. They've got to be trimmed.
I'm not concerned with reputations of people.
And then maybe you'd have to lose contracts over that.
Let's just hear what they have to say.
Changing terms, etc. And understanding that you led people in with a unsustainable model. And I understand that they wanted to have this model that was, the talents first, and we're going to do all this for them.
Hey,
but that wasn't
long
the
time
reality
no
of how
see.
a business could
Do you know if
operate,
Canada
and they
is
certainly
planning
were
to
not able
enact
operate
similar
that way for
internet
whatever reason?
censorship
We
laws
don't
as
know
the UK
exactly
at the moment?
how their
Why is this so
finances
low?
split out. We don't know where that money was funneling.
Why
who
would
was
we
getting
have
what.
censorship laws?
I'm really, really, really curious to get those balance sheets and show exactly where they were allocating their money. And based on some reports, and I know that CDOG VA did this, it seems like they might have been over budgeting on advertising and marketing, like in Shinjuku Station, when they should have been focusing on, paying for the talents and, paying the talents at all. So there's probably some misallocation of funds. We don't know yet whether there was any true theft of funds. So we do not know yet whether they were taking the funds for a completely wildly illegitimate purpose outside the business, for example, for personal gain, for buying a yacht, for buying a Ferrari, a Lamborghini.
I
we also
doubt
don't know what
that.
the compensation was for the executives. Were they taking a haircut? Were the
No.
executive
No, they were not.
officers taking a haircut at a time in which they were not paying out their contracts? That's what I want to know. And I have a sneaking suspicion that they were not. But we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with that. If you're American, you probably have heard of CEOs getting massive bonuses for firing like a third of their workforce. Or even when the company is wildly unprofitable, they just earn more money. I'm sorry, that's just the norm. I don't know what the obsession is with getting the staff to take less money when the norm is nobody does that. If you're in like Asia, then yes, that does happen and that's more normalized. But in the West, I don't know, man. Legal mindset seems to be obsessed with that fact. Like, I get it, that's the right thing to do, but nobody does it. So why should we expect anyone to go above and beyond?
So even with aggressive growth, they'd still not turn a profit. Even with aggressive growth. And that's unrealistic, right? This includes plans to license
Canadian
out
law,
IP, IP.
UK law are not the same thing.
See, that's the thing.
Why would
they
you
don't own the IP.
believe any of that?
So the only way they could do that is if they renegotiated the contracts to take the IP away from the talents, to remove the IP from the talents. The only way to license out IP under those contracts would be to get the permission of the talents to license out that IP. Now, a license can be terminated at any time, right? A license is not a sale, but still, that's a lot. And that is a very interesting element there.
I actually want to hear more about that because they made figures, and that obviously you license out the likeliness of their talents. So I actually want to hear more about that. But how do How does that work at all? It's probably something in their contracts.
With regarding the IP that they were planning to perhaps restrict or renegotiate the contracts as it relates to IP.
Oh.
So
okay, you're gonna lose 10.
The fact
Had they even done that, they would have lost talents over it.
Attract investment. Unable to confirm if it's the 500K. It probably is. 10 managers, 10 talent managers. Their salaries are included within the cost of goods sold.
You can't do that. How do you even pass a financial statement along? Like it. So for those who don't know, like whenever a company shows off their financial statements, they have like accounting firms back it up, right? Like, oh, it's been reviewed by this accounting firm. You can't just you can't do stuff like this. You can't put salaries and cost of goods sold because managers aren't a cost of producing a good. Like, no, that's like things like raw materials. Okay. The reason why I'm highlighting this is because that means all this stuff was not looked at by professionals whose job is to make sure it's, done correctly.
Once again, there's been a lot of accountants, and shout out to all the accountants that are out there that have said this is ridiculous. Why? And I'm not an accountant, but I've read a lot of budgets, particularly corporate and government budgets.
You can't
Why
do that.
would you do that? That doesn't make sense to me. Right?
That means no accounting firm validated any of these things.
Now, once again, I don't know whether that's way too much, but they probably had some folks that they could look into saying, hey, look, we're not doing well. We need to work on our budget. And frankly, when times are tough, you do have to cut back and you do have to say, hey, some staff has got to go, right? Who do we have here That's
interesting. Employees are not contracted. Like, they're a part of the company. That's very interesting because things like editors and stuff, they would be 100% be contracted. So 20 to 30 people, what were they doing?
Can remove without hurting the talents. And from what I've heard with the from the talents in general is that the support just wasn't really there. They weren't getting that support. So what are the talent managers and employees doing? They were not fully supporting the talent as far as the reports I've heard go. Now, I could hear elsewise, but we'll see. Claims IP licensing will bring in 2.1 million with nothing to back up that number. That's
what were they making? Yeah.
The reason why they use that number is because they're trying to plug a hole here.
Yeah, it's a magic box.
Magic bullet. It's going to save us.
Oh, sorry. Magic bullet.
Initially contained IRL photos of VShojo talent, which we redacted. They were straight up doxing the talent from this.
Do you guys realize how insane that is? What could possibly be the benefit of showing off IRL photos of VShojo talent? There's a lot of ridiculous things already included in this. This last part makes zero sense.
That's really to me.
What possible benefit could you get out of that?
Absolutely nuts. And this is the part
why would they even include it? That's insanity.
The story keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and the picture that it's painting is of a corporation.
Is that
fully was
tweet even real? That's so crazy. I can't even believe it.
A delusion, for essentially a delusion. I mean, it's absolutely crazy.
I question the validity of that tweet. That doesn't make any sense.
Here.
That's too far for me to even believe.
Just so we get through that, because I just want to show you guys.
That's like
some of the stuff here. Okay, so
that's grossly mismanagement if that was the case. But
hold on, we got here. You've got some
even at grossly mismanagement. Like, why would you do that?
Which we showed already. We've got VShojo. Once again, this is January. So that executive that left 2 months ago is not going to get out of what was public knowledge in 2025 that they're losing money, right? So you had the financial projections there, right? Mm-hmm. And I believe here we go. I had this post here. There were doxes of talents here.
What? I'm gonna press X for doubt. Like, why would you show off pictures of your talent on growth strategy? That doesn't make any sense. No, no, this is too far fetched. I don't even believe these slides are real anymore.
Doxing Nova, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Why? What?
Right?
Why would you even show
Talking
that?
about, you know, all the stuff they're going to do, which once again, don't really know it's going to happen, and their projections not looking good at all. So really crazy stuff coming out
No,
of that.
I
But
don't.
thank you
I don't
for
think those
Addison
slides are real. That
for
doesn't make
getting that
sense.
information and for putting that together, because I think that's a big element in this story. Okay. So the next thing we have is we have the Vebe kind of letting go of all of our information. Now, this is a big one to go through, and I may even do like we'll have to maybe even do a
Yeah, this
separate
one I've always
comment
been
on this, 'cause
interested
maybe
in
people will have questions
because I
and bring
actually
this
like
up.
her. So it's
But
and she's
this
been gone for
because
2 years.
Vebe,
She left way
now
earlier on.
essentially took the position that the NDAs are void. Now, to be very clear, and I made this comment on another video, each talent needs to talk with their lawyers if they are confident, if their lawyer is confident with them going out and speaking out. I can't tell them. However, my general opinion is at this point, the gun run said they're insolvent. So the gun run said they have no money. So
they can't pay any lawyers.
What money are they going to pay a bunch of lawyers to go chase down and enforce NDAs? I think it's highly unlikely. However, that risk is not for me to take for the talent. The talent is the one to choose. Hey, am I going to risk that Gun Run is going to use his personal money to go sue everybody? Because he might. We don't know. We don't know what's going to go on with.
You know, that's a supervillain shit. You know, like all the talents talk about it, pretending that thinking the NDAs are not valid anymore because they're insolvent. And then some investors give him the money to hire lawyers so he can sue everyone involved. That's a supervillain shit that could possibly happen. So yeah, he's right.
That some people are very litigious. And as we're going to see from Vebe's story here, which does check out, is that VShojo was very litigious, and they were absolutely using threats of lawsuits to intimidate people, lawsuits that perhaps they couldn't even bring, and they would definitely lose if it came to a fight, but they were threatening to drain the talents because they know that they've got more money than the talents. So in a general legal battle, yes, they might lose on the law, but in the money, in the procedure, in the, hey, we can draw this out and make this annoying for you, they might be able to win or at least scare them and intimidate them.
This is the part that always gets me with American justice. You guys move so slowly in law, in your courts. Why is there not a clause for lawyers' fees to be paid by the losing party? That way you can hold your lawyer forever. Now, it is disastrous if you like go 10 years and then you still lose. Then yeah, you're bankrupt now. But like there should be something there. So you can't just have big organizations, corporations tie you down forever and then burn you like because you have to pay the lawyer, bleed you dry, and then you just win by having more money. That should not be a thing.
So let's get into this with the Vebe story here. So saying why I left. Back in 2023, VShojo tried to bully me into one of the most predatory contracts I'd ever seen. Now, I will say this. The version of the VShojo contract that I saw is not as predatory as Niji Sanji, but it wasn't good, right? And now a lot of people have asked me to release that.
As a reminder,
because the person asked me to not do that.
VShojo says
confidentiality.
They have better revenue splits.
So that will not be happening.
They're more pro-creator.
It was not great.
So it's interesting to hear that bad.
When
it's that
I
bad.
tried to ask more about it, their CEO got extremely hostile with me and refused to answer any questions. So I had to hire a lawyer in order to get some clarification. So that's very normal. You are fully allowed to hire a lawyer of your own. There's nothing wrong with that. During the talks, it became clear that VShojo would rather let me go than take less from me, which is very true. They usually will try to treat you like dirt, so they make you sign the contract they want and they don't negotiate it. They were ultimately wanting me to give up more than half of all my sponsor revenue and over 60% of the merch sales. All I asked for them in return.
I'm going to pause right there. Before anyone loses their minds, that's like industry average. That is actually not crazy. But it is crazy if VShojo's talking about being better than everyone else, more pro-creator. All you did at best was be average.
Turn is not to take a cut of the sponsors I was getting through Mythic, as that cut was already taken. They said no. They wanted it all.
Oh, shit.
And so I asked to leave after being treated like I was disposable in their talks. They basically made it seem like they were my employer. This is the big point, guys. They are acting like employers. This is why I think labor law needs to apply to them as employers because of their behavior, because of their control, because their structure, because their predatory nature. I think that the regulatory bodies need to look at this and say, this is not the way you behave with an independent contractor. You behave this way, employee and employer. And this is spot on from Vebe. And they're the reason for my success. And I owe them, and I should be happy to give them my money. In order for me to leave, they demanded I sign an NDA that prevented me from speaking to any other talent about it. Here's the thing.
That's industry norms, though. That is normal.
If you're an independent contractor, particularly, they can't prevent you from leaving. And if, under U.S. law, you can just say bye. There should be no way they can prevent you.
Oh, that's true, because they are.
And this is probably something
they're based in California. So yeah, she could just leave.
Pay you unless you sign an NDA, or we're not going to pay out your last payments, etc., or whatever we owe you unless you sign an NDA. Maybe they did that. But by the way, what is that in terms of additional consideration? Whenever you have an additional contract or something else, there should be something else given, exchanged in response. What are they giving you for that? If they wanted you to sign an NDA, they should have already been.
I keep forgetting this company's American.
Right? They're making you sign an additional NDA. No, sorry, you're not going to sign that. You don't have to sign that. You're not obligated to sign that. Now, they can threaten you all they want, but if they're going to go to court, okay, they're going to try to sue you and say, oh, they didn't sign an extra NDA. And the judge is going to say they didn't have to. There's no obligation for them to sign an additional NDA. They can just say, screw you, VShojo, and walk. And for talents out there that are in corporations that are trying to make them do this, what you need to ask them is, what are you going to give me for it? And if it's, well, we're going to pay you what we owe you, that's not good enough. You already owe that money. You already legally owe that money. If they're saying, oh, we're going to withhold your last paycheck, no, you need to pay me that money. That's money you owe me. That's not something extra. That's something special. Give me something extra. If you want me to sign an NDA, you better grease the wheels. And maybe they'll pay you.
So here's the thing about that. There's probably, in a void, it looks like it's just this. There's probably a bunch of contracts signed in the background that's preventing her from just leaving straight up. So she likely was truly forced to do it. So it wasn't. It's unlikely to just be sign NDA or you can't leave. It's like sign this NDA or all these other things will happen.
Some money, or give you some cut or a bonus or something else for signing an NDA. And if that's something you're happy with, then okay. If you're not, don't sign the NDA. But this is extraordinarily predatory. Extraordinarily predatory. I cannot say why I was leaving. I cannot say what the terms that I was saying no to were. I even got in trouble for advising them to hire their own attorneys. Because you know what? They didn't even have a real attorney. They had an unlicensed attorney.
What?
Yes, that's right. This is something that's come out with Silvervale and other places. They had an unlicensed attorney.
How's that possible? If you have unlicensed attorney, you're just gonna get yourself into a ton of shit because none of this stuff is validated, and the things that you think you have in place are not in place at all.
An attorney that their bar had license had expired.
Okay.
Some corporations do this. In
Yeah,
fact, I worked at a large corporation that had 30 lawyers, and 2 of them did have expired licenses.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the thing is, a lot of the work that those lawyers with expired licenses were doing was not what I would call formal practice of law. They were doing a lot of like document review and some sort of like document filing, etc.
Okay, that's fair.
That.
Yeah,
They're more like paralegals that were attorneys, and of course, paralegals are not lawyers, right? But they still do work that contributes to the legal field, right? They still work at law firms. So
it's like a nurse versus a doctor, if that helps you understand it.
Which generally is fine. Or if you're doing more business type work, that's fine. So a lot of lawyers that are no longer actively practicing, that don't keep their bar lessons up, they're still in business. I mean, lawyers can do other things. Lawyers can, do whatever they want to do. They're free people. So that is not surprising totally, but it's dangerous. The other big thing is with attorneys that have expired licenses that are no longer licensed to practice, they no longer have attorney-client privilege. So anything you say to them as a corporation, right? So let's say you're talking to your quote-unquote attorney, but
they can say it out.
They don't have a license. Well, then there's no attorney-client privilege. And that's one reason why, or at least personally, I try to keep my license up, because attorney-client privilege is one of the most awesome things ever to be able to engage, because it's practically impossible to break. It's essentially impossible to break attorney-client privilege once that's engaged. So that's a pretty awesome part about being a lawyer, and you lose that within the corporation if you have an unlicensed lawyer. So that's a little fun fact there. They would watch my streams, read my Discord, and threaten to sue me. And if I said anything that hinted towards how I felt about the company, I was
managers normally do watch a stream,
really predatory,
and are in your Discord.
Extremely predatory. Another one of the leave terms was that they announced both me and Silver on the same day in order to minimize the damage to their company. The CEO
that's smart.
Pushed the narrative on 4chan. On 4chan.
Are we sure about this part?
Yes, I'm serious.
How do you know this part? This is
another social media that I'm leaving because I plan to join OTK, and that both me and Silvervale are troublemakers, so they were letting us go. Later, I found that Nyaners wanted to leave around the same time due to also being unhappy with the contract, but was told that she couldn't because it would not fit the narrative they were pushing internally and externally. The amount of hate we've gotten over leaving, from fans calling us greedy biatches to people saying we're abandoning our friends and tossing aside the company because we're successful enough, shit was effing painful. Not being able to say anything sucked. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I'd signed the NDA. After 2 years, I'd still not got paid. So literally, look, I mean, to be honest, that was probably why she signed the NDA in the first place, to be paid, and then she didn't even get paid. So she should have been like, hey, I'm going to speak up and break this NDA because you broke your payment terms. So this is when you got to get an attorney involved, because this should not have gone 2 years. And this should have been remedied before 2 years. This is not okay. And this is the problem with VTubing, is that these companies prey upon people that have limited resources and also limited knowledge of the legal system. And this is a huge abuse here. So if you are not being paid, and it has been 6 months or 3 months or 9 months or a year or 2 years, you need to speak to an attorney, please, a local attorney that specializes in labor law in the place where you are.
Right.
To add insult to injury, they also demanded I pay them back $10K for some anniversary assets where they'd sent me months later, which were half finished. Despite all of that, I've had immense faith that the company had gotten better over the past 2 years. I've assumed they rewrote their contracts after losing 3 people due to them seeing all the new talent join. This was clearly not the case. Nope. Now, some fun facts. Their company lawyer had an expired law license. He literally does not practice law. Yet he was the point of contact for any legal help we needed. This is dangerous. This is dangerous because, once again,
for the company,
attorney-client privilege
for the company,
it's not a law. I mean, it's not an attorney, right? They do not have a bar license, so that's a big deal. They actively pitted us against each other during our time there, and compared to the success of others, they tried to enforce streaming schedules so that our view count will look better due to less.
I thought that was the norm, though. For a lot of these top companies, they do schedule the streams, and they're not happy to do it all at once. Okay.
So overlap. They would always talk smack about other VTuber agencies.
I think that's just a norm for like everybody, like celebrities, voice actors. Like I'm sure you've heard this talk. Everyone's just a mean bitch. Oh, jeez. It's when you're trying to be number one, you're competitive, and you're always fueled by like things like this.
They literally would spend company money to get a tiny dig at them, especially HoloLive. And if this is where we find out they spent their money to they literally spent company funds to dig on HoloLive, this will be insane. It was literally lived rent-free in Gunrun's head. They were convinced HoloLive was over when they signed Kason and Nazuna.
Okay, well, that one's a bit far. Come on. I think that might have been HoloLive's lowest point, because it looked like they were bending over backwards for China, and that they lost one of their best talents because they were unwilling to take a stand for her. And that looked really, really bad. I think that was like the first time we had like significant drama in the VTuber world. Maybe there was other stuff like Kizuna Ai's VA leaving too, but
once again,
or talent leaving.
HoloLive and Niji Sanji Anycolor are not going under for one bump in the road. Yes, they'll have some hiccups. Yes, they'll have some stops, but they're big enough and they're public companies, so they're capitalized at a much higher level than Gunrun, right? And VShojo. Our previous talent manager got ghosted for 6 months by Gunrun, told not to do any work for us, and then got fired for not doing anything. During this fiasco, we weren't able to get any advice. That's crazy. This guy does seem very unstable.
That one is very crazy. Because if you don't, okay, the talent manager, if they're not doing this job, that's like one of the significant benefits of being part of agencies, to have managers. And if your talent manager is not even working with you, like, that's one of the big benefits of it.
TD got reprimanded for being creepy to us.
I'm surprised so many people kept silent and didn't leave earlier if it was this bad.
Privately, I mean, this one I want to know more details on, because this sounds like workplace, perhaps sexual harassment or gender discrimination. What was going on there? I mean, because that might be a criminal claim or a labor claim of its own, depending on what happened.
This stuff seems to happen a lot.
Like creepy, what does that mean? So that one is a.
Have you guys heard about the VTuber agency where the creator and owner of it tried to make a harem of all the VTubers he signed? Like, this stuff happens. It's crazy, but yeah. This should be expanded upon.
The question mark. I have proof from other streamers attending IRL parties that MTD would actively smack talk me.
Arrow, look it up. It's real.
To paint me in the worst light imaginable. Don't know why you're acting innocent on Twitter, pretending you weren't aware of anything. That's a lie. Obviously, this guy knew, and he's lying through his teeth. According to the pitch deck in January, he knew. Can't wait to see that that's come out about.
I'm not going to go into this stream. It'll be way
stories to tell, and that is what
it'll derail things even
more. Here. So this is very interesting. This is the first person to break the NDA. But as I said, and I said this before, you guys remember, I said just you.
I wonder how long the NDAs are for. For VBay, it's been 2 years.
Coming out. It is now 100% coming out. Some other stuff that we're going to go over here on the PowerPoint, Mike, and this is other updated stuff. Henya did a stream, and in addition to saying that she was not paid, like many of the other.
You know, Henya and Kason, I feel especially bad for. This is a second significant big agency that they are leaving. I don't even know if we can call this leaving, but forced out of.
Talents. She mentioned merch and undelivered merch. Now, some of you have asked, is merch an asset? Well, yes, technically. But the problem is it's an asset that's already encumbered, meaning that those assets that they have in merch already need to be shipped out to customers that paid for them. So the customers that paid for them either need to get that merch or they need to get a refund for that merch. But let's say you take that merch and you sell it separately. You just sell it, you know, the bankruptcy trustee takes the merch,
some of these,
a big bag of all the plushies.
Because VShojo took in a lot of people who left other organizations.
Takes them all and sells them at a garage sale, you know, and essentially liquidates them. He's not going to get full value, and he's not probably going to be able to pay people back full price on that. You might be able to just give them what they have if it's there, but we'll see. Even though, yes, merch is an asset, it's already allocated. It's already something that's been purchased in many of these cases because it's unshipped. This is a whole separate nightmare to deal with, a massive nightmare to deal with.
You know what? I'm so distracted. I'm just going to address this right now so I can focus. Why is he wearing a headset? Like, is he just listening to music while he's doing this? No, seriously, think about it. Why do you need a headset? I don't get this. I guess he's listening to music while doing this. That's the only reason I can think of. Like, I don't know. Wouldn't you be distracted? I don't know, man. This entire thing thus far, I've been thinking, like, what could he possibly be listening to?
And this is something that was exposed on the Henya stream.
He has no ears.
Saying that she was also not paid. That's great. So not paid for multiple years going back to 2020.
When I'm doing a voiceover and stuff, I'm usually not listening to something.
This is something that is a trend for this company for several years, which is a problem and also shows that the gun run and the management team should have shut this thing down or trimmed it down or done some radical changes to this company years ago. This is not something that got out of hand in a couple of months. This is something he let dig into the dirt. He took $11 million and spilled that into 2.1 million or 2.5 million in debt, right? In the hole. And we don't even know whether that's the full extent of how deeply they're in the hole right now. That's just some of the guesses on how deep this company is in the hole.
Yeah,
but
until you
they're
get
certainly not doing good.
a big accounting firm to
this is
validate
also
numbers.
vague.
I don't believe it.
Saying nothing looks like nothing changed between 2023 and 2025 in terms of how the org management moves. Couldn't and still can't say because of the NDA. Well, she fixed that and we got that read out. So obviously, what the point I wanted to get for this is that this was going on in 2023, right? So it's going on for years. Silvervale, and this is a huge one, says that her heart goes out. There's a lot I wish I could say, but I signed a pretty aggressive NDA. They made my mom sign one too. Completely unenforceable. The mom has nothing to do with this. The mom has no way, is in no way related, was likely not compensated, although I don't know for sure, right? I guess if they separately.
I'm going to pause real quick. This is really interesting. From what I know of NDAs, if you tell someone, even if they're close, like a mom, and your mom says these things, you're on the hook. So it's really like, right? Because that shows you how else is the mom going to hear about this stuff, right? So yeah, this is interesting for to be said. It's not enforceable.
They compensated her mom in some way.
Oh,
Maybe.
the NDA directly with the
it.
mom, I think, is
And
what he
I
means.
truly hope Silvervale speaks with an attorney, and she just talks to an attorney, has a conversation, and says, "I want to break this NDA. This company is defunct, right? What do you think, attorney?" And I hope they give her the nod, and she can speak up like Vebe, because this is a situation in which I want to hear how they made her mom sign that NDA. And under what circumstances they did that. I want to hear that story specifically, because that has got to be one of the worst situations I've heard out there. And to me, the other thing that generally is so heartbreaking is that most VTubers tend to be on the young side. They tend to be younger people, right? So 20s, for example.
I like how he said younger people and then said 20s. How old is Legal Mindset? This isn't anything against him. I'm just thinking about these things because he said it.
And they haven't had a lot of experience.
He is a lawyer, so he's at least in his 30s.
In the corporate world. And so they don't know what's normal and what's not normal. And they don't know that this is completely abnormal behavior. They're often so awestruck and starstruck by being part of a corporation and so excited to be part of a team that just sign off on anything. They just sign on the dotted line and do whatever it takes to get inside the corporation. You really got to take a beat, take a breath, and think about the soul that you're selling. Next, we had...
Even though he said all that, I'd sign all of it. Man, it's so hard nowadays to make it as an independent.
These slide decks as well here that got leaked out. So this is one that once again separately confirmed they're in the hole for 2 million as of 6/21.
June 21st.
And the last thing I want to talk about is piercing the corporate veil. So this is going after the personal assets of the managers, of the executive team, including the gun run, but also maybe MTD, other people, right, that were there before, to the extent they're culpable. So to the extent they are responsible for the wrongdoing, then, and only then, they can be on the line. So here's where the standard is for piercing the veil. So executives can be held personally liable for corporate liabilities if there's absence or inaccuracy of records.
Ooh, that definitely happened because the finances they were displaying, like the cost of goods thing, that doesn't make any sense. So that cannot possibly be accurate.
Concealment, fraud, or financial misrepresentations, commingling of assets, siphoning of funds and assets.
That's like embezzlement.
Manipulation of assets and liabilities. And the last one, which I think is the most damning, is significant undercapitalization, which means not funding the company enough. And I think in this case, we have a very, very, very good chance to pierce the corporate veil because many of these things do show up, pop up. And if we get the appropriate,
we might get to see the full finances.
Links this. I think there's a chance, right? Once again, no certainty. There's never a certainty in the law, but there's a strong chance. The criminal investigation, I think, in my eyes, looking at this, has to happen into this company, particularly related to charity, particularly related to the allocation of funds, particularly related to the relationship with the wages. I think there needs to be an investigation of this absolutely as quickly as possible.
Do you guys think he's
and
actually
we
going to go
will
to
see
jail?
What happens going forward?
I know
Of
some
course,
people
I will
are
cover
so
the
convinced he's
mindset,
going to jail,
and I
but
will
I'm not
also
so sure
catch
about it.
on the
Are you guys enjoying this?
Oh, why did you bomb his Johnny Somali? Anyways, that's it from Legal Mindset. Very well done video. As always, he's very excellent, especially when it comes to displaying the facts. I know I'm not 100% agreeable on everything, but some of these things I just think like it does take a bit more thought, or it's easy to have an opinion on. Anyways, really well done. 110,000 views 11 hours ago. This is a very hot topic right now. 6,000 likes. Let's add to it. All right. And that's it. We're not checking out any more of this stuff. I think that's enough for today. Oh, man. He's so ugly. All right, we're going to do some other stuff. I know we delayed the Nikkei stuff way too long, but then again, when we asked if someone wanted us to do that first, nobody said anything, so... People are quitting Genshin because of this. People quit Genshin for all sorts of reasons. I don't even care anymore. Oh, should we do the Fae thing? I kind of want to just do it tomorrow because we're gonna draw back even more time. Nikkei. Let's just get to the Nikkei stuff then. All right. No, well, I'm asking you guys because when we first asked, nobody wanted to do the Nikkei stuff. So I'm like, okay, then if nobody wants to do it, we'll do it later. The Fae thing is tomorrow. Oh, you know what? Let's just do it tomorrow. Yeah, right before the trailer. Let's cover the controversies. Yeah, we'll do the meeting now then. Okay. Why'd you snooze the ad? It's gonna take us time to switch, which is a good time to run an ad because we're not doing anything during then. Okay, we'll do the Nikkei meeting then. Seems like people want Nikkei, but I want Fae drama. We'll do Nikkei. Again, I know the timing said we'll do the Nikkei stuff an hour or so ago, but we asked and people didn't want it, so then we didn't do it. Okay, let's make a switch. Which is probably a good thing, because had we ran the meeting, I'm not really sure how many people were there at the start of it, so we would have just done a meeting with nobody. All right, I'm switching over now. Give me a moment. Those controversies? What do you mean? What do you mean those controversies? Did you guys see the South Park thing? I don't I don't know how to think about it. They made fun of Trump. They didn't just make fun of him. It was deep fake making fun of Trump. And it was like literally showing off Trump's pee-pee. Obviously a fake pee-pee, but like I cannot even believe they went that far. And for what purpose? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let's switch over. Southport does as Southport does. It's great. But I think people forget this. That was episode 1 of their new season. Episode 1. That was their first episode. All right. Anyways, give me a sec to switch over. We'll start. That's why they have a $1.5 billion contract. They do, but like it's insane because they're going to get Paramount, the guys who are giving them that 1.5 billion trouble. Okay, we'll do the Fate stuff tomorrow. Lines up perfectly with Fate stuff tomorrow. Because Fate trailer is tomorrow, sorry. So the Fate controversies tomorrow before the Fate trailer. I guess that fits. By the way, Felly, I showed Mono the thing you showed. You said about having Mono pay me to watch Automaster, and he actually agreed. Though I'm not sure if he really means it, as in he'll follow through, but he did agree. He said he said $100 if I do it. All right. Maybe we skip the E-like polls tonight, and we probably have to skip something. Oh, I wish this was real. Holy crap. You're gaslighting Mono into paying twice? I'm not sure if it's a gaslight. I highly doubt he'll pay me first. Maybe a bigger picture on the right. I already did the Yumiya polls. Wait, Felly, you care about Azure Lane? I gotta do more polls. I didn't get everybody. But yeah, I am. We did that yesterday. Oh, you care about Tillier. Okay, cool. I got more polls to do because they're rerunning the first event as well. Alright guys, give me a sec. We're almost ready. Did you pull S Doro already? No, I haven't pulled anyone. I gotta pull soon. I gotta pull Eleg, Doro. We also have to do the Near Automata event. There's a lot of stuff to do. She's good. I don't doubt that. Night Union meeting. Let's do it. I think I should just do Black Snake tonight. Oh, I really need to get it done already. Okay, I'm gonna put myself in the VC in a moment. Once we switch over to Nikkei, let's do the meeting, and then after the meeting we can do co-op. You guys know how many new people we've gotten into the union? It's crazy. We're almost full again. Can I show this off without getting in trouble? Okay, that's more covered. I'm scared of using this thumbnail. I don't think I should. Okay, I'll use this one. This one seems like I can actually use it. This downlink is so stupid. It's because I'm using one of their lines. Maybe I just replicate the line. Ugh, it's so dumb. Just because I'm using a line, they make me like go through so much of hassle to like start the stream. Full union, best union? Well, we're full for now. I wonder how long we'll stay full for. People are so finicky about everything. I don't know. But the union is almost full again. Comment. Do you? I don't know. It doesn't feel right to like say it out publicly. You know, the offer's still on the table if you want to accept. Also, we're gonna do Black Snake afterwards. Black snack time? No. I really want to beat it tonight. I'll worry about pulling for Eli tomorrow. His bribes are a trap? Wow, thanks. Alright, we're good. Alright, we're starting.